save your child. Baby Earth is reeling and wailing and needs your tender embrace. Mothers of the universe, Mother Nature's guides, ooh, come save your child. Come save your child. I say come sisters, come and take back your child. This crazy world is breaking and burning and needs your strength right away. Mothers of the universe, Mother Nature's guides, who take back your child. Take back your child. So we must take away their guns and bombs and teach them right from wrong, and that love can conquer all. We who rock those cradles, we who carry the world. Oh, hey girl, this is our time. Oh, what time is it? This is our time. Oh, woman, this.
Thank you, folks. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever you are watching us. This is Screen Vision, and we are happy to be here today. We are back on your screen. Please talk to somebody to share our show. Screen Vision is live. And let me say, Nelman, to the people of Nema. We lost our senator, our father, our uncle, our hero. It's not an easy thing to lose such a person, but I think the senator lived his life, and it was time for him to depart the earth. That's what I think went the way it went. So I hope you guys will take solo in the Lord, man. And then we pray that God will raise somebody that will stand in the gap, to replace Senator Johnson. We understand he has touched the life of many people. He poured food on many people's table. But that's it. That's life. Everyone will leave the earth one of these days. So we want to say sorry to Mother Johnson and the entire people of Nima and the entire Liberia large, so to speak. And today we're going to have a very beautiful show. Let me bring my colleagues on. We have a very new person joining the show tonight from India, you know. And the man Sylvester Blessing JJ, they may been with for a very long time. So he's going to be on your screen tonight. So just stick and still, you're going to get all the information tonight about our topic. But let me bring the host, Mr. Broske Guanbeh. Before I do that, let me say greetings one more to Emmanuel Patrick. He is the Liberian chairperson here in Rwanda. He is the big man. He's the one steering the affairs. He leadership steering the affairs of the Liberian community here in Rwanda. Greetings to you, sir, and your entire leadership. So let me just bring Mr. Broske Guanbeh and the rest of the panelists. I see Sylvester is in the back, and Mr. Colley is in the back as well. Let me bring him on. Let me bring Sylvester Blessing JJ. So whatever you're watching, please share our show, man. Screen Vision is live. Talk to somebody. Tell me how you guys doing. I hope I'm okay. Getting my voice clear.
Yes, actually, it's okay.
I'm getting
Sylvester, you want to
everybody
say
clear.
something? Am I clear?
Yeah, my brother, you're loud and clear. You're
What?
loud and clear.
It's,
Okay,
it
okay.
seems
I
that
think we are good. Wow.
Cody is not hearing you. Cody, is it okay?
Colleague, how you doing? Are you getting us? Colleague?
So now I'm forcing it to go in the room.
Okay. Thank you for stopping by. I mean, I'm now in the meeting.
Hmm?
I'm now in the meeting. After the meeting, I'll call you.
Okay.
Ah. So, folks, this is Screen Vision. Talk to somebody, and we are live. We want to say thanks for sharing our show. Please give your input tonight on the discussion. Don't sleep on us. We have our entire team, yes, yeah, on the platform tonight, going to give you the insight of the topic. Brooks,
Yes, I tried to give a direction to Mr. Cody. It seems that he's not actually hearing you. I don't know.
that's our chemo today. And okay, so while we are with Mr. Colley, let's just take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Oh, woman, know right away. But there's nothing you'll never heard. Mother Nature's guides who take back your child. Take back your child. Oh, wow, oh, this is our time. Let's hear it, girls. Oh, wow, oh, this is our time. Oh, woman, oh, this is our time. Oh, woman, this is our
Sylvester Blessing JJ, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, my dear brother. Good evening to the people in Radio Land and our viewers out there.
Okay.
Some of them good evening. So, Mr. Guanbeh, how are you? I'm glad to be back and happy to see you people. Charles,
Yes,
Chester.
Yeah, man.
yes, Sylvester. We are actually happy to see you as well because it's taking a long time, a very long time. Not just long time, but a very
Why
long
is
time.
very long time, my man?
Very long time.
Stop making it seem
So
like I
we are
want
Man,
happy.
to.
you
We are
spent you
actually
spent you
happy,
spent
and
like you spent like 1 year, 6 months out.
No,
yeah, we are
man.
happy to see you.
That's true.
Samuel, is it
If I,
okay now?
if I can recall, maybe it's just a month.
Tata,
But
what's
it's
going
good you are
on?
back anyway.
You need
Thank
to
God you
check
are
it out
back.
later. We are already live. I think we need to
I'm
start the
okay.
program.
I'm okay. Let's go ahead, Brooks. I'm okay. If somebody is not getting, I don't know the problem.
Mr. Collie, how are you, my dear brother? Maybe you have to unmute yourself or you, I don't know.
He's not
No,
muted.
he's not muted. He's saying he's not hearing us.
But say something and let's hear you. I think we can start the conversation, Brooks. We shouldn't keep. Let's go ahead.
Okay.
We will bring it on.
Okay. Let me use this opportunity to greet every one of you, and then I want to say hi to everyone. I think today is January 19, 2025. So this edition is a special edition that it requires our participation interactions tonight because since we've been having shows, this is the first panelist discussion without bringing on guests. If my memory can set me well, so I think calling you need to. I don't really know what's happening with your gadget. You need to really try to set it up correct. So we continue. Like I was saying, let me
First,
use this opportunity to welcome every one of you to this edition. I think our topic tonight is well known to everyone. So we just want to urge our audience to start following us as we have started going live. We want to ask our audience, our followers, to keep sharing the show. Let it reach to people. Let many people follow tonight because tonight discussion is a fascinating discussion that requires everyone participation. It requires the public participation because it's about food security. So the topic about food security and agricultural role in economic independence, particularly with the case study of Liberia, it means a lot to every one of us because food is one of the issues and one of the things that no one can live without. It is our basic and the most important need that everyone knows. So discussing this issue tonight in a panel discussion like this, I mean, it means a lot to every one of us, which we need to start. And then, like, before we go forward, I will ask the producer to see if we can you can give a maybe like a short break. That time call it and see of other calling Victor. Victor is trying to join too because we don't want for them to count at which time we have gone far. But even only if after 5 minutes they can
we
join,
have
then
we
we
have
can
we have we have
or
we have gone 16 minutes our show goes. Let's go with the show. When the people come, they will join. Let's go with the show.
okay. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I so like I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is our discussion tonight. We are live, coming to you live on Stream Vision in the city of Kigali, Rwanda, with our panel discussion on the topic food security and agricultural role in economic independence with a case study in Liberia. So our discussion tonight it requires our panelist interaction. There will be interaction among our panelists. As you see on the screen, you see a lot of panelists on the screen. So they will interact with us tonight and give us uh, the insight about food security And then the discussion tonight will be a very critical discussion, and we'll have an in-depth analysis on some of those points that will be raised. And then we will be able to allow diverse perspective with and dialoguing based on your field of study and what you know about food security. We are also going to consider the panelists' particular field of study where you are studying, like they are from diverse field of study. So we're not from the same field of study, like and these are all university students, and not just university students. Most of them they are senior students that are about to graduate, and making effort to even enroll in master or maybe PhD. For me, I don't know, much of all of them start on when it comes to education. Maybe some of them they are master degree holder, they go into PhD. So we want to welcome everyone tonight. We want to welcome our audience. We want to welcome our panelists. We want to welcome our followers and our colleagues who are also in the chat room following and then sharing our show. Abigail, we actually appreciate you sharing our show tonight. So before we go for let us start the ball rolling. Not to take much of your time, let us start the ball rolling. Like I told you, as you see on the screen, we have many followers. I mean, many panelists that we are about to interact with each other tonight. So we will first start with a brief discussion. I mean, introduction. Each panelist will be able to introduce yourself. When you introduce yourself, you just give a brief background about
Yeah,
yourself.
my both devices are not even getting you.
So first of all, let's try to start with Chester. Chester, kindly introduce yourself, and then you give a little brief background about yourself.
Okay, thank you very much.
So I give you 2 minutes for that. You can do it fast, or maybe 1 minute.
Well, for the benefit of the doubt for everyone, my name is Chester Wajla, and I'm a university student studying environmental management and conservation. Basically, all about the environment, how we can manage and protect the environment. And also, it is a pleasure having
Sorry,
me on this
sorry, I'm
show.
getting a feedback. I'm getting a feedback from somebody. I don't know who's that person. Like knocking something. I
Eh,
don't know who's that person.
Probably it might be Samuel who's trying to join. So yeah. So Chester, continue, please.
And so, it is a pleasure having me on this show and having this wonderful discussion about food security and the role of agriculture in economic independence. So we look forward to propound more and elaborate on this topic. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Chester, for your brief introduction. Let's hear from Mr. JJ. JJ, let's hear from you. Your introduction and a brief background.
Good evening again, colleagues, and good evening to our listeners out there. It's a pleasure again to be back on the screen vision to discuss issues pertaining economic growth. So my name is Sylvester Blessing JJ, and I'm a student of economics. Again, I'm glad to be here to share my perspective on some economical issues. Thank you so kindly.
Okay, thank you very much, Sylvester, for your intro. We get to Tata Bala. Tata, please introduce yourself quick.
Thank you so much, Brooks, for the time. My name is Tadas Dibala, and I'm happy to be here today, like always. Always here on the Sunday and Wednesday. So I think my face is not new. So looking at the topic tonight is very important because agriculture is the backbone, of Liberia economics. Agriculture serves a cornerstone. So I hope that we're going to have a very fruitful discussion and give all those information that the public will be expecting, and we also ask them to give their own perspective on the topic tonight, their ideas, and together we can have a beautiful show tonight. Thank you. Look forward to a fruitful discussion.
Okay. Thank you, Titus, for your introduction. I Before we dive forward into the discussion tonight, as I am Brooks K. Guanbeh, I am your host and the moderator for the discussion tonight. And all those guys you are seeing on the screen, they are all the panelists that they are going to interact with each other tonight, and the public will be able to interact with them and see how best they can deep dive into this topic tonight and see how they can propose solution. Okay, they can discuss some of those importance. So going forward, I would like to give you a brief information about the whole topic. That is just a very short information regarding food security. Food security is very much important according to the the Food and Agriculture Organization of the US. I mean the United Nations. According to the 1996 World Food Summit that took place in Rome, and in Italy, Rome, they define food security in a special way that we would like to understand from that tonight. So they said food security exists when all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient food, safe and nutritious food that meets the needs and the dietary needs of food preferences for an active and healthy life. This is the definition from FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. So it went down giving a brief breakdown about how food has to be available when it comes to food security. So it talks about the availability of food security, and that has to do with significant qualities of food to be available in a good quality, and it should be supplied to all areas, and it should be produced domestically that people can get it and also be imported. Everybody should be able to have access to food, and when you having access to food, the household should have access to food, individuals should have access to food, and food should be at surplus level. That food security, it speaks directly to the sustainable goal number one that has to do with zero hunger. So if when you have surplus or sufficient food in a society or in a community or in a nation, it helps the community, it helps everybody to remain focused. Actually, let me speak that term, to remain focused. So tonight we will be looking at food security and how you utilize food, the proper nutrition and healthy diets of individual that actually involves in making your food security and making people to get hygiene level safe, to have proper food preparation, and the availability of food, and how food to be stable in the society. So looking at this, all this breakdown and the explanation from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, we will be diving deep into this discussion tonight, where our panelists that you are seeing on the screen will be able to give that expertise. They are from various field of studies, so they'll be giving our expertise tonight, and you will be able to interact with them, and then you learn much from them and see how best they can propose solution to food security or food insecurity in Liberia. So we say that the topic tonight is food security and agriculture role in economic independence with the case study of Liberia. So we will come to the panelists tonight. Starting with panelist Tato Bala. Starting with Tato Bala tonight, we would like to actually hear from Tato Bala. Tato, what do you think, or what do you actually make of this topic? You just use 5 minutes of your time to actually deep dive. I mean, give a brief information about the topic, and see how we can start, or how people can start interacting with you. What do you make of this topic based on your expertise?
So thank you once again, bro. Like I don't know, this guy find it difficult to come. Like I said, from the beginning, the issue of food security is very important, a very important topic that we need to discuss, because food plays a major role in the Sorry.
Yeah,
So
actually, we
food.
are giving. Okay, okay, you go ahead.
Yeah, we are getting a bad feedback from Samuel. And I don't know. So Samuel, if not possible for you to join, maybe you will join next time. But for now, I don't know what's going on because we are not nowhere to get you on the screen. And
Okay,
so
Tata,
that's it. You
just
can
go ahead.
join next time. Yeah. So like I said, the issue about food security is very important to every nation because food plays a major role in human's life. And once a nation has the ability to produce more food, the citizen will also have job and they will be able to live accordingly. But on the contrary, to our nation, there are a lot of things that they interplay when it comes to food security in Liberia, which of course there are a lot of factors that is contributing towards that. And I hope we will discuss some tonight because once we don't have insufficient food in the country, it also lead to poverty, and we all know what poverty can do. So
Mm-hmm.
tonight, let me just pause. We're going to go deep into it on the discussion tonight. So let me just pause here
Oh,
for now.
okay, okay. Thank you, Tata, for the brief information about food security. We will come to one of the panelists. Comrade JJ, Comrade JJ, you from the economist background. Looking at this topic tonight, food security. What do you make of this topic?
Thank you again for the question in this discussion. I will first want us to conceptualize the topic on the discussion because we are talking about uh, two different aspects that do not coexist without one another, and linking it to ensuring economic independence is somehow like a broad discussion. So, firstly, I would like to begin with food security. It was already mentioned by Mr. Bala that ensuring food security leads to food sufficiency and lead to the well-being of the people. Within the case of Liberia, I don't want to be political on this show tonight because I want to give my honest opinion. But I strongly want to believe that comparing Liberia with other countries within the sub-region, I mean, particularly West Africa, you will see that there's some level of improvement when it comes to ensuring the security of our food. With the role of agriculture towards economic growth is something very cardinal, and we can see that government effort now so far with the recent launch of the arrest agenda, we see that agriculture is key towards economic development or economic growth. That is, with the priorities of by government prioritizing agriculture productivity, we will see the improvement, an improvement in existing measures towards food security. Indirectly, now we will see there is some level of economic independence. It has been noted. I'm getting feedback, please. It has been noted. It has been noted that time to time, Liberia will always import most of our stable meal. We always import our stable meal, and this is something I want us to get clear. You see, the importation of rice, in particular, from other countries, there's something that we usually observe in economics, especially with endowment of resources. It is true that Liberia has a fertile land, right, a fertile soil, but the investment towards growing our stable food is huge, and government cannot do all. So if government say they seize the opportunity to grow sufficient rice for its population, It will be
Okay.
somehow like a burden. Let me just
Yeah.
conclude quick. It will be somehow
Just
like a
conclude. Just
burden.
conclude.
It will be somehow like a burden on government. So that's why you see government make it easy to reduce tariff on importation of rice in order to buttress government support. But we are not only talking about rice in particular. We talk about other crops. But food security, like Mr. Bala regularly said, is ensuring that there is food sufficiency and ensuring the well-being of the people. Thank you very much.
Okay. Food security ensures the well-being of the people and ensures food sufficiency for the people. Chester, what do you make of this topic tonight? We'd like to hear from you, Chester.
Well, thank you once again. The topic is such a great one, especially looking at it from the perspective of our country, Liberia. It is very important because food is one of the important things that needs to be highlighted, especially how it relates to us being alive and healthy. These days, many people believe that food security, when we say food or agriculture, is about feeding people or individuals or feeding maybe just a community. But agriculture is not about feeding a certain people or a community. Agriculture is nowadays agriculture should be and it must be about empowering nations. How can we empower the nation? That's the most important thing. And food security can only exist when all the people in the country at all time have access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food, most especially to maintain a healthy and active life. But before, people might think that agriculture or food security is just about maybe a household, is having sufficient food, or maybe a community is into active agricultural activities. But it is not that way, and it should not be that way, especially in such a time as this. But
Hmm.
it should be about how we can empower nations, beginning with our own country, how we can empower our nation, the life of the young people. How can we be able to improve the young people's life? Because
Okay.
food
Okay.
security,
Just
yeah,
conclude. Just try to conclude
yeah,
because
thank
we'll
you.
bring you
So,
back. Just try to conclude. Hmm.
food security is very important. In countries, every countries can be able to lay the foundation, especially for sustainable economic growth. When you talk about
Okay.
resilient against shocks and also improving the life of the people, it should be about empowering. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Okay, Chester. Chester, thank you very much for giving a brief information about food security. Samuel, are you there? Are you hearing us now? Samuel, are you hearing us? Okay, Samuel is not still hearing us, so we can proceed. I mean the guys on the screen that you are seeing, they are all panelists, and they have given a brief information about food security. And they said food security, the possibility of food to be available to all people at all times, sufficient food, and not just sufficient food, but it should be having good quality and in good quantity, and it should be to everybody. That's the common definition they gave about food security. That's real. So, comrades, it is actually necessary we deep dive into this topic tonight. If you are following us anywhere, you are following us, just try to hit the share button and be sharing this show so you can participate and then make your input tonight. We want you to participate and make your input and interact with our guests and with our panelists tonight, because this topic, it requires interaction between the panel and the panel, and between the panelists and the followers tonight and the audience. So you are going to hear actual information from them when it comes to food security, particularly in Liberia context. So I coming to this next topic, I mean this next question. Let's go directly to Tata Bala. He was the one who started the ball rolling. Tata Bala, as an environmentalist, actually, as an environmentalist and a senior student that is preparing to like graduate from Unilag, and you have studied about food security in your field of study before, because environmental study is actually linked with agriculture, and they are almost the same. So looking at this topic tonight, and you have given a brief information about it, we would like to also hear from you. How does environmental degradation impact food security in Liberia? How does that actually impact food security in Liberia? Talk to us. Let people hear you and know what's going on.
Okay, so you have to tell the people that I'm a serious student. That's good anyway. Okay, so you know, like you rightly said, issue of food security is important that we need to discuss. Now, when it comes to the soil being fertile, because we know we use the soil to plant whatever crops you want to plant. So once the soil is not fertile, you won't get sufficient yield. Once the soil is not fertile, you won't get sufficient yield if you plant whatever crops you want to plant. Agriculture, it rely on the shifting cultivation in our country, in Liberia. People don't really use the lowland. People shift. For example, you get a one acre of land, you harvest, you cut the tree, and then you shift. After 1 year, you plant the whatever crops. Once you harvest, you shift to another area. And once you clear the entire area, the forest, at the end of the day, it leads to erosions. And once erosion take place, you're going to wipe away the topsoil. And the topsoil holds most of the nutrients. So once the topsoil is being wiped away, you find out that even if you plant or crops there or anything there, you won't really get sufficient yield. So you find that more people these days, they have to use inorganic fertilizer to have sufficient yield. And once you do that as well, you also cause damage to the soil. So when the soil is not fertile, like we said, you won't get much yield. So majority of the people in our country, in Liberia, they are farming, they are using the forest to farm, and they are also using that means to degrade the environment, forest degradation. Because you farm here today, you use 2 acre the next year, you go to another place, you use another 2 acre next year. So let's assume that we're about 30 in the community. Then every year, everyone use 2 acre to farm, 2 acres to farm. What will happen in the next 10 years? You find that you won't have sufficient forest around us, which of course is
Tata
not good
Bala,
for
let me
our
hold you there.
environment.
Mr. Bala, let me hold you there. This point you are discussing
Mhm.
is actually significant. And looking at environmental degradation impacting food security, that you have actually demonstrated that. One may sit and say, but this guy, he's speaking from the point of environmental field, and the people need food. The people need food. Even the agriculturalists don't take into consideration whether the environment is getting degraded, or they need to get to maximize their productivity. But that's why now we environmentalists or people who into conservation agriculture, they are saying that no, there are mitigation measures, or there are measures that you can put into place to conserve the environment, not to damage the environment. That's the conservation agriculture. So in this context, what will you say? The use of fertilizer,
So,
maybe organic fertilizer and inorganic fertilizer, like you just touched. What will you say to the people who trying to maximize food, and get more food? What will you say to them? Which one they should prioritize? Is it inorganic or organic fertilizer with your field of study?
so Brooks, all the years, there are some NGOs that have been working with some farmers in Liberia, like FFR. There's an organization called FAFET, but later it need change. After FAFET, yeah. So FAFET is FFR, and we have another organization in Liberia that also working with some farmers to reduce the impact on the forest. So what are some of those activities or practices they were telling the farmers to carry on? We got something they call conservation farming or conservation agriculture. Now, if you have for example, a plot of land, and then you cut down the trees, you plant rice here today. If you harvest the rest, you should think about planting your cassava. So once you are planting the cassava, they got something they call maize cropping system. You got cassava, so you can divide the plot into four. You got cassava on the other side. You got the pepper. You have a bitter ball. You have an okra on this one. So once you harvest the cassava, you harvest the okra, you harvest the bitter ball. The next time you turn it around, you get you how they call it potatoes on this side. You get another crops on this side. You get another crops. So you find out that in the course of that year, you're going to use that land over and over and over and over. And we want to encourage our farmers to use organic fertilizer. It's not inorganic fertilizer. In other words, we call it manure. So if you have those fertilizer, if you find out in Rwanda, most of the flowers that you see along the way, they don't use that inorganic fertilizer. They use the fertilizer, the organic fertilizer, like you take from food, the waste of food, and they use it with some grasses and other things to produce this fertilizer. That's what they use. So once you put the organic fertilizer in the soil, using it to farm, you're going to get more yield. It won't cause damage to the environment because under there are other insects under there that also contribute when it comes to the growth of the soil, the soil being healthy. So if you kill every one of them, if they won't play their part that's supposed to contribute when it comes to soil growth, which will also lead to good yield of your crops. So
Yes.
we want people to practice. They got like I said, we got you can do maize cropping, conservation farming, maize cropping, you can do it. And then, or you say rotational something, you rotate the crop from the other place to the other place to the other place. At the end of the day, you're going to get something good. But we don't do that. We are not saying people shouldn't cut. We know people want food, right? People need to eat. And the forest is there, like we said. That's why Liberia signed a memorandum of understanding with the Norway government that Liberia should keep 30% of their forest. 30% of their forest. So it means that 30% there will be no farming, no logging, nothing will go on there. It only there for conservation purpose. But the rest of it, people can farm. But if you are farming, we want you to farm sustainably.
Yes,
Sustainable farming
yes, yes.
practices that why we
Let,
should
let,
do
let,
to
let me
using
hold it there.
agriculture.
I actually appreciate how you position your argument tonight, where you encourage the farmers to be able to take the responsibility of using the conservation farming methods. Maybe like also using those sustainable farming techniques that has to do with crop rotation. I maybe after crop rotation you do mixed cropping or mixed farming where
Yeah,
you plant different varieties of crops with on a same plot. That maybe you harvest this one, you harvest this one, or the crop rotation you plant cassava here today, and then after planting cassava here you plant or potato on the other side, and after planting potato you plant, you just start rotating them to enable them maintain the nutrient content within the soil and maintain the health of the soil. I agree with you. Let me be real to you. I agree with you on that point. I agree with you on that point. But I think JJ is looking at you some kind of way too. Because this guy from the background of economists, and the particular topic or the particular point, the question that we just asked and just discussed, I believe you will come up with another perspective from the economic background to discuss. JJ, want to hear from you. When it comes to this topic, what do you think food security based on your field of study or on a holistic level? What do you think food security can impact environmental degradation or environmental degradation impacting food security? Speak to us.
Okay. I thank you very much again. I do not tend to let's say open another argument from my colleague's point, but you will agree with me, though I'm not an agriculturist. But the issue of food security, most often, agriculturists they make emphasis on from the inception of growing the crops. You look at the climatical factors and like what you talk about environmental degradation and other factors that may align with it. But contrarily, you may also agree with me that policymakers in the field of agriculture or in the field of economics or whatsoever, policymaker in general, put more emphasis on quantifying the security of food through post-harvest. So most often you may grow the crops may come out well, but how will you manage the crops within that period before reaching the end users? There where now other factors comes in by the storage management, proper rule, transport network, and what have you. But to your question, the environmental degradation is very key towards food security, like I said from the inception, where it starts from the growing of the crops. So if the environment is not properly managed where you're supposed to do the planting and you do not do the planting there, I think it causes a problem to ensuring sufficient growth of or sufficient yield. So I think that's how I can answer your question. I hope not to create another
Yeah,
argument
yeah,
towards.
yeah. Actually, we must appreciate you for answering that question. Your Tato, you are smiling.
Yeah,
Do you
so
want to
bro,
do you want to post something there?
yeah, I want for JJ to come up with what you want to say. It's not that. That's why the program is meant for. Sometimes it's good to share ideas. So come on, just feel free. Say what you want to say. If I have something to say, I will back my statement. I'm here. We are now. It's not a debate, but we are sharing ideas so that our followers can understand what we are discussing tonight. So you can come up with your topic. I don't want you to say I don't want to create another room for another discussion, which of course I would love. I really love that. So come on, what I actually wanted to say concerning my point I was pushing so that we can continue to talk.
Like I said,
Let's have a good show, man. Let's
No,
have a good
no.
show, man.
Let's wait. JJ established his argument in the way that he although he spoke in another tone, but I don't think that he was in a position of disagreeing with you. So he like try to complement what you said before, and then to base on your idea and add some ingredients to it. JJ, you can respond to him. You can respond to him if he wants you to respond to him. You can respond to him. That's it. Because we need argument. We need the argument tonight, and we need the information to be
I
disseminated to
don't
the
like the
public
way you put in
out
it. We need
there, and then
argument
let our
tonight.
people in Liberia know what is food security and how it's actually impacting them in that area, and how people intend to get more food. That discuss the issue tonight. They talk to
so
party.
like I said from the beginning, right? Liberia problem in ensuring food security, that problem mostly exists from post-harvest. Post-harvest, we have a fertile soil, like Mr. Bala mentioned. We have various mechanisms of planting different crops. But my argument I'm bringing in that maybe you people may want to agree, that you people may want to agree, food security, let's put more emphasis on post-harvest. It is true you may do all the like I don't know the nomenclature, but the mixed farming or whatsoever you may do, you
Yeah,
farm
yeah.
the
Wait,
crop.
wait, wait, wait. Sylvester, wait. You say the one of the issues may be based on post harvest. what's the actual
Mealy,
that is yeah, tell us now. What's the condition of post harvest that may be one of the issues now? That's the hear from you.
yes. So the condition for of post harvest, it depends the kind of crops.
Mm,
Particularly if we are talking about those perishable crops, then the post
mm,
harvest now talks about preservation. Because you
okay.
may harvest the crops to meet end users. Look
Mm,
at we say there is no road connectivity in this other location to take this
okay.
product from this end to that end.
Okay,
And
ladies and gentlemen, let me hold you
yes,
there. Don't there are area ahead that you
you know
guys will
the
discuss.
argument, the conversation is
All
very
this,
long, and I'm
yes,
sure that so we just take our time
yeah.
as we get the point one.
The post harvest that you are discussing, and then even the for product to or the produce to reach to the end users, there are area there that you all need to discuss. So I don't want for you guys to honor man the whole discussion tonight. Don't feel say
Sorry,
Tato
I
give
didn't
you.
get it clear.
I'm saying you getting me now. That's fine. I said that go ahead. We got area ahead that you guys will discuss concerning the produce or the products reaching the end users. Where maybe they are in, let's say, poor infrastructure like roads that are making people to not carry their products in the market and other things. There are areas you guys will discuss. So let us not based on this one. So I really appreciate every one of you for your comment and your analysis on that particular question that I asked that has to do with environmental degradation and food security. Let me first recognize some of our followers tonight. Abigail, one of our colleagues, who actually appreciate you for following. You are in Kigali. We want you to share this show. Justina, thank you for following. Victor Johnny, thank you for following us tonight. David Flobo, we actually appreciate you for following us. Lopu Mama. Thank you for following us tonight. Please share the show, and then we will there are certain time within the discussion that you will be able to send your information, or you will be able to call directly, or you send your comment through text. We'll read it, and then a question the panelists will be able to talk to you. So Tato Bala, let's get to you. Let's get to you. Concerning what we just discussed, and then linking it with rural development, because when you studying agriculture, or when you are into agriculture, you need to also not to just degrade the environment, but also you need to build the environment. You need to develop the rural areas. So what are some of those challenges that you think our people in the interior part of Liberia, or even let's say in some of those areas that they are into farming or into agricultural activities, what are some of those challenges that they are facing today that's maybe making some of them they're not producing their crop, or they're not maximizing their crop to get the actual yield they want to get from them. So just speak to us in that direction. Let's hear from you.
So let me first say, in Liberia, most people that do
Mm,
farming activity in Liberia, they are only farming for they and their family. They are farming for they and their family. The few that are farming for they and their family. But there are a lot of challenges when it comes to the issue of agricultural activities in Liberia. One, because you spoke of challenges, let me speak to that directly. One,
mm,
they have to do with our people need proper training. People need to be trained on how to carry on these farming activities. I'm not saying they are not trained, but way back way the agriculture in Liberia too, we have to desist from it. They are modern way of farming now, because now people farming and also taking into consideration the environment. So these days people are not only farming because you need food, but also farming taking in consideration environmental degradation. So they need practice. They need to be trained on some of the method they need to use, that they will farm. It won't affect the environment. The environment will be protected, and they too will get more yield. Now, I was privileged to have visited most county in Liberia. Yes. And when you go in some other counties, you see fruit, banana, cassava, they are just there because there is no road connectivities. It's one of the major things we are faced with in Liberia. People got, I went to Nima for example. I saw lamb, people call it lemon. In Liberia, we say lamb. You see the tree, a very big tree, everything full. How the people will even pick it? They can pick it, but there is no road. The entire village will not consume it. So the issue of road connectivities is lacking in Liberia. That's why some of those crops or those fruit just leave right to where they were produced, and then at the end of the day, they damage. So in order to improve our agriculture sector, we need road connectivity. We need to be trained, and we need something they call cooperation. We need more
Mm-hmm.
cooperative because if you want to produce on a large scale, maybe 13, 14 acre or individual cannot do it. You need a
Mm,
cooperative that will work together. That's why they got there's an organization like they call CDA, the
mm,
Cooperative Development Agency. They are there to work with your cooperative, be it farming cooperative, agricultural, let's say mining, they are all over. They are working with your cooperative, making people to work together. Because once you work together, you will produce more and you also create job for other people. So we are lacking the real connectivities and the training. We need proper training. We are lacking the proper training in Liberia,
mm.
which we need to address. There are other people,
Okay.
there are other organizations who are helping the process, but we need to
Mm,
do more.
okay.
Yes, I think these are some challenges that the people are going through. Though maybe people might say there are policies. Yes, we need more policies. There are policies. Policies are there. Some are there, but they are not being adhered to. People look down those policies. They don't really following the step that they need to follow. But when it
Mm,
comes to the challenges, you talk about role, we need training. Once you train the people, you're going to provide those seeds for them that they need to. They are new breed of rice that even
mm.
if you plant within the course of 3 months, it already up. So all of those things, people need to be trained to do kind of a variety of rice or variety of crops that they will know how to
Okay.
plant, when to
Okay.
plant,
Okay.
when
Okay.
to
That's
season.
good. Let's hear from Comrade JJ. Comrade JJ, when it comes to the challenges our farmers or our local farmers are facing in Liberia in the rural area, and considering rural development when it comes to agricultural activities, what are some of those challenges they are facing? I believe somebody in info here now listening to you, they want to hear and then propose some solutions to those problems or to those challenges that maybe tomorrow when they go on their farm, they'll be able to start working on those things. So speak to us and then let the people hear you as a relates to that.
Hello?
Yeah, you are alive. We're getting you.
So, thank you again. You know, Mr. Badas make emphasis on 2 points, which is a bare rock that I do strongly agree with him. Training and infrastructures. So, training and infrastructures are the bare rock. Those are the challenges. But yeah, it's it that sometimes farmers may be disappointed in going to the farm to grow sufficient food. They don't have the market. They don't have access to the market. So, with the issue of infrastructure being addressed, is a gateway of farmers having direct access to the market. But another thing that we must also consider that has to do with cooperative. Some of us who are away from Liberia studying and seeing the homegrown solution in other countries, where I am now, there is a lot of cooperatives in this country that enable farmers to get access to market. But we should also look at another factor, though we talk about the infrastructure and we talk about farmers need trainings, but we need access to finance to capital. Many farmers in the rural area, The collaterals of getting money from bank is so high that farmers cannot get themselves involved into. So we have to think big. Right now, we have farmers in Liberia that are supposed to be growing maybe a crop that is in demand on a very large scale, but they won't because it requires capital. So if Echo Bank is in Grand Jita or if Echo Bank is in Nima County, Grand Bassa, or let's say Sano, and farmers need to purchase import in order to growing maybe corn at a large scale or whatsoever, they need certain amount of collateral or quality of collateral to get certain amount from the bank. So added to these two that Mr. Bada just mentioned, access to finance is one of the major challenge farmers as well face with.
Okay, thank you guys, thank you very much for making your input as it relates to the question. Chester, are you there? Is it okay for you? Can you contribute? Okay, Chester, I think Chester is like doing something. He's facing some technical problems. So particularly you guys mentioned key points like the both of you I mean agreed with each other when it comes to the lack of information, the education to the farmers, and then the infrastructure. You know, basically, like you mentioned the road facility, the poor road facility in the country, and in rural areas. I have been some of those issues that really perishing the farmers product, and then damaging their products that they suffer hard to actually produce. You know, some of those farmers they will go in the interior, like for instance, certain part of Lima County they call behind my town. I mean, my town Kwendi, the area. I mean, before they make farm there, they will go the forest. They will cut down those forests and then do that hard labor job. But when they get that yield, when they produce and they can produce, but there is no row, no storage capacity, nothing at all for them to keep their products in there to preserve them for sometimes for them to not get damaged. When there is no way to bring it to Tapeta, to take it to Sekepie or take it to Morovia, automatically, and when they roll between Tapeta and Sekepie, when they roll sport, automatically all their products will remain there and get damaged. So I actually strongly agree with you guys for that. The government actually needs to put in mechanism that they can build the feeder roads that will be able to feed those people, and then try by all means and bring in infrastructure like markets and build markets to those sub areas, those regions that people will be able to benefit from their own product they will produce, and provide storage facility as well. It will help them. So guys, I actually your expertise tonight is actually fascinating, and I believe the audience are actually learning from you. And after this show, I believe it will call some of you and tell you say and get you condo, because the discussion tonight is actually important. Though some of our panelists have been facing some challenges when it comes to technical issues. Let's get to let's go back to actually let's go back to JJ, Mr. Sylvester JJ. Having had the background of
Before JJ come here, I wanted to say something concerning what
oh,
he said.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah. He spoke of a cooperative that I also, talk about it, and an issue about farmer having access to loan, right? Which is very important. You know, these days, even people in the Western world, they are not looking at individual to giving their money to individual. They prefer people working together as a team. Yeah, because once you guys work together as a team, there will be some proper management of the funds. Though it's not something like there are some groups sometimes they don't really manage the fund, but the people believe that once you work together as a team. But now, here's the situation we face in Liberia. People are not sincere to themselves. I don't want to say they are not sincere to them very selves. Access Bank loan. There are a lot of people who took money from Access Bank today. Why are those people smuggling when you grant there? They went on a gold mine because some of them took the money. They didn't even prepare why they took that money for, why they really want to do with the money. They started cooking gravy, started eating or chicken, forget to know that that money is supposed to pay back. So one of I think we ourselves in Liberia, there are banks in Liberia, those banks are doing business. The people need profit. You and I can take the money and say, oh, go and sell. At least if you find majority of the horses in like in Rwanda here, they took their money from the bank to build the horse.
Sure.
And every
You are right.
month
You are
they
right.
pay into the bank. My landlord doesn't give a chance. The moment the month ends today, the landlord calling, the bank need their money. So once you pay on time, you take the bank money, and then the bank tell you say at this time you're supposed to pay. Look for market that will allow you to pay that money on time. They're going to get the money, JJ. You yourself, you know
Okay.
that. There are a lot
Okay.
of banks that are willing.
Okay. Okay. That's beautiful. I like that injection. I actually like that input that has to do with a cooperation. It's actually important. You when you form a cooperative, people can come in and support. But the lack of sincerity, people are insincere. They naturally trust wafty when they go, like you rightfully mentioned, when you go to asset bank, you collect money from there, then you run away, you go in the interior, you go sit there, you don't pay the people money back. Why are you doing that? And one of the things we need to do in Liberia, comrade, the policy is one of the issues. When there is policy framework, my brother, and there are implementation of those policy framework. Even if you go in the interior, they will still go for you. They will still go for you. But the implementation is what our country is lacking, brother. It's what our country lacking. A reputable institution, an asset bank. You go, you borrow money from them. Then you can't go and get the money. You know how easy it is to get you? When there is policy in place, when there is strong policy implementation in place, it's very easy. But our country requires many work, brother. So let's get to JJ. Sylvester JJ. Let's actually get to you. One of the things that been bothering me, I want you to address it. Looking at for Liberia dependency on import. Looking at Liberia dependency on import, especially our staple food rice. And this is a food that we depend on to eat. And when there is no rice, you yourself that over there, someday you will go you eat GB or you eat cassava or you eat potato. When they ask you now, you say, eat because you eat rice yet. When they ask you, brother, you not eat today, you eat rice day, you will say, and not eat. And this is our staple food we depend on. And but the country is actually depending on foreign investors or foreign reserves to import rice in the country. Although the government, the recent government that we in the region now, the one of the key portions on the agenda is agriculture. Yes, we understand, but this is the problem we are facing in Liberia. So I want you to address this issue tonight that people will listen to you. You being an economist or emerging economist from your background, how does Liberia current level of food, the current level of food input affect the economic growth in Liberia? Please speak to us.
So again, it's a critical and broad question that requires a whole lot of hypothetical comments. But again, I want to first invert a checkpoint, right? When we speak of economic independence, if you want to disagree, you are free to. There are many countries in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa to be specific, that are economic independence. Most of the countries' economic independence does not rely on agricultural sector. Case study, you can check it out. Rwanda. If you look at the economic development per sector, in Rwanda, the service sector contribute about 50% of
Mm,
economic growth. where agriculture is lacking around 24, 25%. But I say this to say, we talk about importation in the case of Liberia. There's no sub-Saharan African country that produce rice 100% for their people. Especially those countries that just give me time. I'm learning somewhere.
Yes, yes, yeah, I'm
Especially
listening to you.
okay, thank you. Especially those countries that their stable food is rice. In the case of Liberia, we look at the financial implication from government side. That's why you see government has to incorporate the private sector to reduce some of the burden and they focus on other strategic sector of the economy. We're now talking about government making more effort, focusing on education, focusing on health. Food matters, but the importation of rice, government cannot. I'm not saying okay. Let's say it is a taboo from time to time. Let me just say in that way for people in radio. It is a taboo from double time to two times, zero, early. The importation of rice is something that we cannot deviate from. It has to be in place in order to budget government support, government effort to focus on other sectors. It is true that importation of rice may be somehow not favorable for we the citizens. We have to grow our own food. And my appreciation to Honorable Berete who has started the process. We have to grow our own food. But let it be clear that growing rice 100% for its population about 5.6 or 5.5 million people is impossible. So in that regard, we have to create opportunities or create avenue for private sector to input rice into our country to match up with what we will produce.
Sylvester, Sylvester, let me not disagree with you, but let me come with another view. Looking at Rwanda here as your case study you just tried to mention, Rwanda is actually one way or other depending on agriculture as one of the sectors that produce that boost the economy, And then though the service sector is one of the sectors that contribute immensely at a higher level, but agriculture is the country's dependent let's say resource that they depending on that they can generate their economy from A and then empowering that economic growth. Looking at Liberia, and one of the things we need to understand here is the stable food, that underlying word stable food. Rwanda can never go out of potato to produce the potato and then to go out of potato out of the market or transport or even if they can out or how they call it export the potato, yet and still they have much that sufficient and they can consume it at any other time. The case of Liberia staple food is rice, and you and I know that Liberia staple food is rice. Despite other foods are available, but food and rice, if you not eat it a day, you will say I not eat yet. And then the time rice can be in surplus in Liberia is the harvesting time. That the one that that can be produced from agricultural activity, particularly at local level in Liberia, can add to the one that can be imported. And mostly Liberia, most of the food that we use in Liberia, like the rest, they are imported food that we use. So my point here is, how is it actually contributing to the economic growth? Don't you know? Don't you know that it's actually affecting the economic growth of the country? That's why you said now all countries can produce rare at the maximum. But if that is your staple food and it is not produced and the government is not putting in place the measures they need to put in place or bringing in NGOs that will help and maybe to complement the government effort in that sector and then be able to maximize some productivity, what will you do don't you think that it's affecting the economy of the country? That's the question I want you to address.
You know, there are two different crops that you are making reference to. And the value addition on the other side is cost intense, and the value addition on the other side.
Okay.
You make reference to potato.
Mm,
From my view, for these people here consuming potato, I don't think they have to pass through other mechanics, other processes to consume the potato.
mm,
But the rice, you have to harvest it, you have to process it, you have to bake it.
mm.
So this for the aspect of our stable food is cost intense.
Okay.
It's cost intense. So government has to do business in a way that it reduces the burden for itself and show political stability, because it is obvious that when the citizens are hungry, there will be chaos.
Okay.
So in order to balance that, like people have always said, rest in Liberia is a political commodity. You temper with
Directly.
Liberian rest, you temper with a re-election.
Of course.
You understand? So in that regard, what can government do? We have a gateway to the economy. Okay. If you can bring in your rice, a quality food, a quality rice, we reduce tariff and you reduce the price for our people. I will repeat this over and over again. Even Tanzania that producing rice, they do not produce 100% for its citizen. Tanzania stable food too is rice is part of their stable food. They produce
Mm,
rice on
mm.
a certain amount of quantity and
Mm.
facilitate other people to bring in a commodity,
Hey,
especially
let me
those.
hold you there. Let me hold you there. Let me hold
So
you
the
there. The
importation,
case of
the
Tanzania.
importation, the
I come in.
importation. Let me let,
Yeah,
let me
the
just
case
let
of
me go.
okay, learn, learn.
Let me get land quick. I know you want to. So the importation of rice, the Indian parboil, the US parboil from other countries into our economy, is I agree. It's somehow like it's not favorable for us Liberian. We have to produce our own food. But even if we
Mm.
are to produce our own food, let it be registered in the back of our mind. We will not even produce 60%. We still have to incorporate those people because it reduces the cost on government.
It is true that you cannot produce rice 100%. But the issue with Tanzania, you cannot compare Liberia with Tanzania when it comes to that context. Tanzania is producing rice. Tanzania feeds our own citizen, and this food is surplus, not just surplus, but the commodity has value, economic value, and they using this medium and they exporting this commodity to another country to be able to generate money that will enhance the economic growth of the country economy. But this is the case of Liberia. You and I not exporting rice. I don't think what actually we are exporting, what food commodity we are exporting. If you try to like calculate or maybe try to list the food commodities that you are exporting, it cannot reach three or four. But in the case of Rwanda here, Rwanda is exporting tea. Rwanda is exporting all those most of those things that they produce. Even the first quality, they can export it. The other day when we were in class, a lecturer asked, why Rwanda exporting the first quality food out of the country and the local people are not eating it? And the answer that one of the colleagues gave was actually significant, and it speaks directly to the question. The answer was, it is important that you export those things because the first quality is expensive, and then the people who investing into the production activities, they need to get their money back. So if they add more money or they carry the price up, the local people will not be able to afford. So it is important that they export the first quality commodity out, that they will be able to get their money that they are invested into the production. You see, that speaks volume to the importance of exporting or producing your products at the maximum level that you can supply your people, and then you can even also help in exporting to generate money for yourself. So there is a context we are speaking. I think what we need to be talking about here now is the government to provide avenue to bring in more investors, to bring in more NGOs that they will be able to complement the effort of the government in that sector. When they invest into it, they make a deal. Maybe you take this one, I take this one, and then you help the farmers. Then you guys discuss about cooperative today. There are people you will see people will start forming cooperative in Liberia because they know very well that groupings are the people that, or are the group that people can go to support. So if you can see you want to help this group, you supply them fertilizer, supply them or some pesticide, you supply them some some equipments that they will be able to produce those products. And then after the production, you take your share and they take their share. Meaning the one you have to export, you export it, and then they settle the gain from it. That you see the economy will start boosting. So Tato, let's come to you with this
I,
issue. I believe.
I, I beg you, before Tato comes in, I just want to draw a point, though it does not particularly link with agricultural production. But we're talking about countries being in down with certain resources, have the country has the ability to invest into that resources for themselves, right? Let me reference, let's sway the discussion away small. Let me reference to the oil industry. Countries like Gabon. If
Mm,
you are reading about these countries, have you wondered why I say that they have they will produce oil and then the oil exported in other countries, refined and then sent back to them? Yet they are in down with crude oil.
mm,
But it is cost intense for the government to venture into that business.
of
Look at the
course.
case of Nigeria. Why is it that we it is Dangote now that giving lift to the refinery industry in Nigeria?
The comparison, I would disagree with that comparison. That comparison is far from rest production.
I'm I
So
no
let's hear from Tato. Maybe when Tato come up with his point,
like I
we'll
said,
let us.
let's sway the discussion away small. The reason why I brought in that comparison is to say that it is true we have the
Okay, let's
fertile land.
summarize it. Let's summarize it within maybe
Yes,
two
it is
minutes or
true.
one minute.
It is true. We have the fertile land, right? It is true we have the fertile
Mm,
land, but the investment needed, it will be a more burden on government compared to creating avenue for other people to come into the economy with, with rice. Thank you.
okay. Thank you for giving your expertise from this topic and the particular question, especially you from the field of economics. So, comrade, we are back to you. What's your take about this topic? No, we are not hearing you, Tatus. We are not hearing you. Unmute yourself and then tell
So
us your
I've
take
been
about it.
sitting quietly listening to you guys.
Mm,
You know, when we're looking at economics independence, it means once you link it to agriculture, how many persons agriculture have in, the agriculture activities are employing Liberia? Because we're looking at agriculture activities. So if we comes to Rwanda here, if we come to Rwanda, they say it was in 2023 the economy the agriculture sector contribute 26% to the GDP. And
mm,
when it comes to the employment aspect,
mm,
they employ about 70% of the labor force in Rwanda, which
mm,
highlights the importance in livelihood and economic stability. So if you turn back to Liberia, how many persons the agriculture has employed in Liberia? Let's look at
mm.
that. we want for people to relax, to enjoy, to make money for themselves. So like we already put it from the beginning, Mr. JJ, we need more cooperation. We're talking about we can produce our own food, right? We can produce our own food. Once we get cooperation, more cooperative out there, people can even write together. Since we our staple food is rice, we can produce rice. Have a very big farm. Because once you get 15 or 10 different cooperative, it shouldn't be rice alone. You got cassava, you got plenty, a lot of people investing in plenty, it's going to create jobs. Because that's our focus tonight. We're looking at agriculture and we're also looking at economics independent. Meaning, how does agriculture contribute to our individual being independent when it comes to finance? If we have more industries in our country, like here, there are a lot of cooperative, like you said, cooperative all in the country, people working together as a team. So you listen, when it comes to job, the agriculture sector alone employ about 70% of the labor force in the country.
Sure.
So at least somebody can go and work. At the end of the day, they can get something to put on the table for laying their children. At the end of the day, they can send their children to school,
And let me now maybe obstruct you or hold you there. You know, this particular area, this particular sector is one of the key disciplines that is taught at the higher level of education in Liberia, agriculture. And then people can go, they take upon their time. Almost all the universities in Liberia, they are teaching about agriculture. Almost majority of the universities in Liberia, they are teaching about agriculture. And it's so saddening to hear that one of my comrades that he and I graduated. I think he graduated before me at the level of Nima University at that time, Nima Community College at that time. He did agriculture. Myself, I did agriculture. The comrade myself started chatting the feed day the man graduated 2018. Up to now, the man say he not get job. You see that type of thing? You see that type of thing? No, people will say maybe that you're witchcraft people behind you. Not the witchcraft people behind you. When a job opportunity is open, is provided by the government, potential people will start working. Even if you cannot, if you don't want to work with government, but when I have opportunity, when the infrastructure, all the equipments are available, myself, I can get up, I go, I make my agriculture farm, I take loan, I invest into it. Or we just go join our cooperative. We start
Yeah.
making money from there. But nothing. So guys, let us not cater on this thing. The government really needs to actually intervene. The government need to intervene. So let's get to this. Let's get to the question. The question going to Tato Bala. Tato Bala,
Can I
let's actually
can
hear.
I can you just spare me a minute, please?
Okay.
Yeah, you know, it is prevalence that even in sub-Saharan Africa, when you do an assessment of the labor force of the country, the amount of labor force in the country economy, if you do a characterization per sector, it is obvious that agricultural sector will carry carry the margin. So by you even asking about laboral context, sub-Saharan African countries, they are more or less the same. But again, we must be very careful now. That characterize it based on the structure. You say about 70% of the labor force are employed. What form of employment are they getting? Are they gaining their economic independence? Is that form of employment substantial enough for them? There when I disagree. Thank you very kindly.
So I think that report, when we at least somebody able to get food on their table, right? If you work in a day, you ought to get something to eat. Though one may say it's not 100% sufficient for the person, it's not really supporting a person, that needs, but at least it's contributing to a lot. I'm not the one who did the analysis or the report. The organization who did a report that more than you and myself, they are the one coming out and say, look, the issue of agriculture, it contribute about 70% when it comes to employment, the labor force. Check there,
But
is
if
there.
you go if you
The
go
people,
into the report, they will talk about the informal characterization of that employment. Don't just leave it at the surface. Thank
so they
you.
say they are saying agriculture in totality. Agriculture, you get fishery, you get forestry, you get there are different forms of agriculture, right? So every one of them, they are saying a contribute when it comes to employment to this identical number. So I'm not the one who's saying it.
Have you asked yourself now, right? If you don't want to make reference to the characterization of whether it's informal or certain percentage of it being formal and informal, why is it that they employ 70% of the total population of the total workforce, right? And yet and still service sector contribute about 50% of the economy.
So we
You
are
think
saying,
about it.
yeah, it's only the thing about, but at least those people can have something good on the table at the end of the day. The service sector you are talking about, obviously, it will contribute more because Rwanda is a tourist area now, so everyone running to come.
So then how would a service sector contribute more by employing less compared to agriculture sector now?
No. The
So
service sector employ less. That for that, if you go there, the
so
service
if
sector
they employ
employ
less
more.
and contribute more, you should look at
Yes, they
the
employ less
formality.
and it contribute more.
Yes. So you should look at the formality. So if the service sector employ less, right? Now the service sector is more formal. That's why they contribute immensely. The agricultural sector employ more, but it's partly informal. Sub-Saharan Africa, the case are more or less the same. If you look at the total workforce employment, the workforce in Liberia, the labor force in Liberia, you will see higher share of the total labor force moving from the agricultural sector. But how sustainable is the employment that ensure the economic independence of those laborers is another question.
Okay, guys. I we actually appreciate your expertise on that question. We appreciate. I believe we are getting something from you guys. That will impact us or those back home. There will be a impact then. So looking at like I said, we coming to Titus. Titus actually looking at the food security. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, that's beautiful. Let's leave food security at the moment. Looking at the role of agriculture. Hmm? Looking at the role of agriculture, and then when it comes to the low sustainable agricultural practices that we mentioned before, both have to do with our food security and the poverty reduction in a rural area. What do you think? Because like in Rwanda here, I there are strategies put in place. There are some strategies put in place to be able to enhance agricultural productivity, and then help reduce poverty. Like the national strategy for agriculture transformation, something like that. The national strategy for agriculture transformation, and they got even another one. They got informed. There are many. So with the context of Liberia, what do you think? What do you think will be some of those practices with agriculture? Will be some of those practices, the agricultural practices that we can put in place that we mentioned before. But can you re-emphasize on some of those things that will help in linking it with poverty reduction strategies in some communities?
So I mentioned our people being trained. That's number one. And once they are trained, they will be trained to the smart, because something we call smart agriculture. Yeah. Or
Okay.
you say climate smart agriculture. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are practices that need to be, taught to our people in Liberia. They need to understand how
Mm.
to carry on smart agriculture. That they have
Okay.
various techniques that you need to you're only talking about shifting cultivation is not really good.
Mm.
So you need to practice conservation farming. And apart from the
Okay.
practicing conservation farming, they also need to prioritize cooperative. They need to work
Mm.
together as a team. Once they work together as a
Okay.
team, because for me, I'm looking at the issue about food being surplus within the country, but I'm also looking
Mm.
at taking into consideration our environment protection. So we need to have
Okay.
a
Very
conservation
good.
farming, and we
Very good.
also need to have, once you get a conservation farming, they are taught about
Mm.
it, and they're using various techniques, mixed cropping, rotational cropping, or rotational farming. These are things that I need to know. I know they are doing some, they are doing it, but there are other people who are not doing it.
And then you from the field of environmental study, and you actually stand front against climate change, the adverse impact of climate change, and you encouraging people maybe to use some sustainable agriculture practices like agroforestry, planting of trees and other things. What do you think agroforestry particularly will help to enhance food security in the context of agricultural sustainability or food having more food in Liberia, and then taking into consideration the impact it plays on the soil, like climate change impact and other things. What do you think agroforestry will do to enhance food security?
So when it comes to, you talk about we start talking about issue about farming activities, right?
Mm,
So agroforestry, which is another techniques that people
yeah,
need to use in order to protect the environment.
sure.
When we say agroforestry, is almost like you are farming, but you are not
Mm,
degrading the environment, because
okay.
on a farm you may, for example, maybe you mixing the rubber, you got cocoa, you
Mm,
got let's say coffee, let's just say cocoa and
mm-hmm,
coffee, you mix it together on a
mm,
particular environment, and then you have the trees, everything covered. It also helps to protect the environment. That's why I was saying our people shouldn't only rely on rice. We understand rice is our stable food, but once you have to cooperative, somebody might even invest in or moringa. I saw a witness or documentary from Ghana, yes, from Ghana, and the people have a moringa plantation that's employ more people. So that identical plantation is another form of agroforestry, because
so
though when a tree grows, right, when a tree grows, it's going to the direct impact of the rain or the sunlight, it won't come directly on the soil. You will have to
mm,
protect it for some time. So our
okay.
people should not only focus on rice. They should understand they should only maize cropping like irregular poly agroforestry, which also help when it comes to climate change, because
Yeah.
we understand that the trees help to absorb some of these carbon dioxide that go in the atmosphere. The tree plays a major role in it. So the
Mm.
agroforestry will also help when it comes to the issue about climate change. It will help to protect our environment. So it's important. We can also focus
Okay.
on that.
Okay. Thank you, Tato Bala. Thank you very much for giving your expertise on that. Agroforestry will actually help in reducing climate change because, like for instance, it actually plays it when you plant, when you maybe you make a farm, you make your rest farm, and then you while you planting a rest, you planting rubber tree there, or you planting coffee there. You know, after harvesting the
Even
rest,
banana, banana,
or you
that
plant
plenty,
banana, you plant
cassava.
or those things, those cash crops, you plant them, the tree crops, you plant them. Then after you have harvested the let's say the perennial crops that you planted, and then those trees now, the I mean the annual crop, after you have harvested, then maybe the one in the perennial crop will remain there now. They will just be there now, and then you will take your own time and start working on them while they help you in conserving the soil and then reducing the impact of climate change or the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, absorbing carbon dioxide and some of those natural gas and other things. Okay, Tata, we actually appreciate you. And coming to JJ, do you have a contrary view to that, or we have a special question for you when it comes to that?
No, I think you can ask the question if I have a
Thank you.
different view.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Considering your area of study and strongly accurate about the economical, let's say, the economic component of everything that we are discussing tonight. How can government policies and incentives encourage greater investment in local area or in local agricultural activities? Like we have been, some of our arguments have been, uh government should be able to implement policy framework that will be implemented regularly, and then people will go by it and see how best some of those sectors, particularly the agriculture sector, will be like with high certain level of regulations. So how do you think government policy and incentives encourage greater investment in local agricultural activities?
No, my view is affirmative, but
Mm,
the way the question is the way the question is asked, I'm
mm,
not in the capacity to now speak on behalf of government.
okay.
But I want to strongly believe that time to time there has been incentives towards the encouragement of investment into agricultural activity, especially in the rural part of Liberia. And with the recent launch of the arrest agenda, I want to believe there are steps outlined in the agenda for agriculture
Mm,
growth for our country, and there are incentives for private sectors to get engaged in particular. That's all I
okay.
can say because I cannot speak in the case now as a government appointee because
No,
I'm not here.
yeah, we are not asking you to speak in the case of government, but there are some
But
recommendations you could make. There are some recommendations you could make to government, or some of those solutions that you can provide to the government. Maybe they can use it as a working tools to improve the sector. That's why we are saying, because policies are some of the main issues that can strengthen sectors, sector the environmental sector, sector of agricultural sector, all those sectors. When your policies are in place and then they are implemented regularly, it helps to improve and then boost the sector. So this is the question we are asking. When you are into
so
that policy, talking about incentive.
I think that there's a need.
Mm,
If only if the way things are being operated in Liberia, then maybe they are not playing by the book, or maybe the
mm,
book has misguided those line agencies. If so, I think there's a need that they revisit the policy and strengthen where need to be strengthened in order to match up with the global competition so far. But I would strongly want to believe that the policies are there, and policymakers or implementers are going by that. If there is a gap, then
mm.
maybe it might be from the implementation stage or what the book instructed implementers to do. But I want to believe that there are policies surrounding concerning our agricultural growth, and there are policies surrounding other environmental issues in order to ensure a healthier environment.
Okay, that does talk to us. Can you speak to that?
So thank you once more for the time. We do appreciate the conversation tonight. And there are some recommendations that I want to put forth to government tonight. One, government should invest in sustainable agriculture. Yeah,
Okay.
we should promote eco-friendly practices to preserve the environment while boosting, yield in it. in the agriculture sector. So government should also strengthen research, agricultural research, to develop climate resilience crops. Because now the world now we are facing the issue of climate change. So there should be more research done so that they can come up to develop the issue of climate resilient crops and the technology that will mitigate, climate impact on our environment. One may say, "Wow, just speaking about the environment." There where the war going on, climate change is affecting everybody. So why the should have we speaking of boosting agricultural productivity, we also need to take into consideration the environment. We need to take into consideration the environment so that government can work with those small farmers, to provide, like I said, to also provide training and give access to farm to market role. They're going to help
Okay,
us. They need to
okay,
develop or build more roles in our country that
okay,
will help those small farmers at least to be able to transport their crops to the market. We got
okay,
more,
okay.
but we want us to.
Mm, okay, thank you, guys, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us, we are coming to you live.
So
I from the
let me just inject the
Mm,
one.
yeah.
Government should also encourage the
Mm,
public-private partnership that will foster
okay,
collaboration to build good infrastructure, like Mr. JJ said, and myself
mm,
I was speaking of. We need to
okay.
encourage investors within the country.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Guys, I think you guys are on course, and then your expertise is actually significant tonight, and making the discussion to be so fascinating. I believe everyone watching us tonight is actually learning a lot from you. This is a panel discussion on Stream Vision, and wheresoever you are watching us or joining us from, we are live on Stream Vision from Kigali City, Rwanda, where we are discussing issue concerning food security, actually food security with the context of Liberia particularly. So the panelists that you are seeing on the screen, they are actually seasoned panelists, and then they're discussing their expertise tonight as it relates to that. And I here behind everything here, as the moderator for the discussion tonight, Broske Guanbeh. So Tata, let's come back to you. Looking at strategies for improvement in what we have discussed, looking at strategy for improvement, what we have discussed, though you just proposed few strategies, so few policies that needs to be that need to be done to improve the agriculture sector, or the policy to strengthen the policy. So what are some of those practical strategies for improving agriculture productivity among stakeholders or the farmers in Liberia, among stakeholders or the farmer particularly? What are some of those practical strategies that you can inject tonight and tell the people, maybe locally, that they will understand to improve or enhance agricultural productivity?
I think we have said it. Maybe we can just go
Mm,
over it again. We spoke of rotational farming,
okay.
which means you should plan. If you get a plot of land, you cultivate a plot of land. On that same land, you can plant
Mm,
rice. Let's say, for example, you want to plant rice. Take the entire land to plant the rice. We agree. You plant the rice. In the midst of the rice, you try to put pepper and you put cassava.
okay.
That's maize cropping. Now, that's another one. The next one, maybe if you finish harvesting those ones, use that same land and then you do what we call rotational cropping. You
Mm,
can cut the land into four parts. You have
okay.
another crops on the other portion of the land, another crops, another crops, another crops. Once you harvest them, you rotate them. Take the crops, for example, maybe you have pepper here. You take the pepper, you get to cassava area, take cassava, you bring it to pepper area. Take tomato, you get to the next place. So we want people to utilize a specific area of land, not shifting
Mm,
from one place to another. Utilize that area of land for a longer period of time before shifting. And once you do it, you're going to get a yield. Because if you plant the rest, you harvest the rest, and then you try to plant cassava, you plant pepper, you could
mm,
sell those ones. At least that will give you fund to buy all those things that you need to. You need to take it on yourself. So that
okay.
prioritize though maize cropping, look at the issue about conservation farming. Don't
mm.
use too much inorganic fertilizer.
Inorganic
That
fertilizer.
fertilizer, yeah, yeah, don't
Mm.
use too much inorganic fertilizer. So that's why I said people should be trained, because once the local farmers are trained, they will be trained how to produce low compost, low organic fertilizer. They will be trained how to produce it, and then they train how to use them. So once they
Okay.
are trained, they will, because the inorganic fertilizer it carry much money because you're going to buy them. But the organic fertilizer, you are only using your energy and other things to produce that one, which will help to
Okay.
boost your crop yield. Thank you.
Mm. So before you go, let me ask the follow question. So how can we actually address the issue of land degradation? Because particularly agricultural activities, it is one of the causes of land degradation in the world. I mean, let's say in the world, not only in Liberia. It's one of the causes of land degradation, and it impact agricultural productivity as well. When land is degraded, when you use in organic fertilizer, or when you carry on maybe slash and burn, you destroy the environment, it affect the water body. So the question here has to do with how can we address some of those issues, those issues relating to agricultural activity that causing land degradation. How can we address some of those things as an environmentalist?
So I come back again, Brooks.
Mm,
We said
mm,
people should be trained how to carry on the agricultural activities smartly, smart
mm,
agricultural practices. I
mm,
mean, like the issue I spoke of, using organic fertilizer, the
mm.
inorganic fertilizer, because you know the effect of inorganic fertilizer, it damages the soil.
Okay.
There are other macros organism on there that helps in the improving the soil health. Once
Okay.
you continue to use that inorganic fertilizer, it helps to damage the soil. So people
Mm,
should reduce the use or even disease from the use of inorganic fertilizer, and practice how to make and use the organic fertilizer, which we also call compost, how to use
mm.
them. And then we just told you, do not try to maintain a specific area of land. Don't do like, because most of the agricultural activity in Liberia, it rely on shifting cultivation. What do I mean? You farm here today, tomorrow you go to the next place you farm. The next year you go to another place you farm. The following year, so before, let's look at in 20 years, if you just cultivating 2 acres of land every year, well, in 20 years, you know how many acres of land you are damaged, and the forest will take time to regenerate. Though it can regenerate, but it's going to take time. And there are a lot of species in there that are going to migrate, that are going to die in the process. Some are even, I don't know where to really put it now. So people should practice this issue about conservation farming. Let learn how to maintain or learn and join into cooperative. Because if you people are 15 in your town and y'all just decide to form yourself, y'all will farm on a particular land or small portion of land, then with everyone having their own farming activities.
Okay. Okay. Everyone will have their own farming activities. Tata Bala, we actually appreciate you. Because we don't have much time actually, gentlemen, we have to go. We have to go. We don't
Yeah.
have much time. But
Before we go,
before we can go, JJ, I'm coming to you. We
I
need
just
your
need
we
1 minute
need
to emphasize on something quick.
yeah. That's why I want to give you the time. That's why I want to
Oh,
give you the
okay.
time. Even speak to the issue that we just discussed, that Tata discussed. Again, you can make your emphasis on why you want to talk.
No, my emphasis needed rely rest on the policy that you talk about, right? I just got to realize that the arrest agenda, or the AARD, the arrest agenda for inclusive development for Vision 2030. If you look at program 8 to 10, it give a broader roadmap of how we expect our agricultural sector to be. Like we have mentioned on the show, from the beginning of the show, we talk about the improvement of farmers having access to inputs. If you look at the
Mm,
agenda, it will increase access to input by 30%. It will reduce,
Okay.
I mean, input, agricultural input now, seeds and whatsoever.
Yeah.
It will increase it by 30%. If you look at the reduction of importation of agricultural product, finished agricultural product, the food, the rest you talk about. The agenda also seeks by 2030, it has to be reduced by 30%. So you talk about policy and government incentive. So government is working on modalities to ensuring that these things work. So the AAID agenda for Vision 2030 clearly spell out where government has to make interventions. And I don't want to believe that there are other policies that will supersede or that supersede this policy outlined outlined for agriculture sector. For the fact of the matter is, there is a broader, is a general direction. Then supplementary policy will spell out where exactly and when to do and where to do. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, guys. Actually, we really appreciate you for that point and bringing on the arrest agenda and those key points you just mentioned. We actually appreciate you. So we actually we have almost exhausted the time that we're supposed to be here for, and then we would like for us to like because we are not actually seeing calls coming in, though the comrade has not placed the numbers on the screen, and that we are not seeing text coming in for the argument to be between you and the audience. But now I'm actually enjoying the discussion tonight because the expertise of you guys has caused me to learn a lot, and people who have been following the learning from you actually. So we actually appreciate you. While we are waiting for some people to call or to send in their text, we will try to start wrapping up because we don't have much time. We don't have much time. So Tata, let's start with you. Can you give your parting comment tonight as it relates to the discussion tonight?
So I want to say thanks for everyone who are watching tonight and who will watch this live after. We hope that all of these things we have said, the government will take some of them into consideration, and those who are watching, even you as an individual, you can also take them into consideration. Like most of you who are into the farming activities, we talk about some practices that we all need to follow. And once we, go about following those steps, they're going to help us along the way. They will talk
Mm,
about sustainable farming practices. We also need to
mm,
focus on that because once you get that or practice in your mind, that sustainable farming practices, it will aim to meet the current agricultural needs of the people. So
mm,
you talk about agroforestry that you need to follow. We spoke about agroforestry and that will
mm,
reduce erosion and other thing. We talk about group, let's say crop rotation or intercropping. We spoke about it.
mm,
Should also take that into consideration. So we also talk about the conservation agriculture. Everything is part of it. The soil protection. For me, I'm from the environmental background. So you won't most of my discussion tonight. And even if you follow any discussion that have to do with agriculture these days, they also take into consideration the environmental aspect. So every aspect now these days, every aspect take into consideration environmental protection, be it construction or where. Any discussion now, you're also focusing on environmental protection. So we all should work together. Climate change is real. You guys getting it. And then understand that we also need to eat. So let's learn all these small practices we're talking about. And one of these things that we spoke of is forming a cooperative that will help us to get more you to increase our productivities because once you guys working together as a team, you're going to produce more and people going to trust you to give you money that you also use. And our farmer, we shouldn't only focus on rice. We shouldn't focus on rice. There are other crops, like I mentioned. I told you about an individual in Ghana that is investing in moringa. You know the importance of moringa. If you don't know, go and read about it. Moringa is very important. People invest in moringa. Nobody going to steal that moringa. I don't say when I play my card, somebody will steal it for the moringa. Once you get it, I don't think somebody will just go steal it because now it's something that you will take, you harvest it today, you go eat it. They got a lot of processes they need to pass through. So people should think about some of these things. And to your colleague who is a graduate, we need to, once you get an agricultural cooperative, you have to you start writing proposal. There are a lot of things we need to put in place. We need to graduate from way back, way to carry on activities. So our
Okay.
people need to work. Those all who have the degree or who will get a degree or already have the degree in agriculture or policy making.